Imagine for a second that the global economy is not a marketplace, but a high-stakes, multi-dimensional battlefield. As we speak, there is over $100 trillion in global GDP circulating through the veins of the world. Yet, statistics show that the bottom 50% of the population holds less than 2% of the global wealth. Why is that? Is it a lack of effort, a lack of hustle? No, it is a lack of strategic literacy. Most people are operating on a linear map in an exponential world. They were raised on a diet of 19th century industrial age advice. Go to school, get a safe job, save 10% and wait 40 years. But the elite, the dynasties that command industries, and the thinkers who navigate the highest levels of power understand that wealth is not a reward for being a good person or hard worker. Wealth is a mathematical consequence of strategic positioning. Today, we are stripping away the polite illusions of fairness and middle-class comfort. We are going to deconstruct the 5 timeless secrets for our money power. These are not hacks or scams. They are cold, hard, psychological and economic laws that allow you to legally and ethically crush the competition by playing a game they don't even know exists. If you are ready to undergo a psychological recalibration, then listen very closely. Secret 1. The law of asymmetric leverage. The legendary Greek mathematician Archimedes once said, "Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I shall move the world." In the modern era, leverage is the only way to escape the time for money trap. Most people are stuck in linear growth. If they work 1 hour, they get paid for 1 hour. This is the most dangerous financial position you can be in. Why? Because your time is a finite resource. You are capped by the 24 hours in a day. The powerful, however, operate through asymmetric leverage. This is the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, applied to your very existence. Data shows that in almost every industry, 80% of the results come from 20% of the causes. To crush your competition, you must stop selling your labor and start selling leverage. There are 4 types of leverage: labor, capital, media, and code. Labor is having people work for you. Capital is having your money work for you. Media and code are the permissionless levers of the new age. A video you record once can be watched by 1 million people while you sleep. A piece of software you write once can solve a problem for 1 billion users. This is how you move from a worker to a system owner. When you own the leverage, you don't just participate in the market, you dictate the market. Secret 2. The fortress of specific knowledge. Economists often talk about the moat. A moat is a structural barrier that protects a business from its competitors. But the most powerful moat you can build is not in a company, it is in your mind. Philosopher Naval Ravikant calls this specific knowledge. Specific knowledge is the knowledge that you cannot be trained for. If the world can train you, it can replace you. And if it can replace you, it will pay you the bare minimum to keep you from quitting. To gain money power, you must build a fortress of scarcity around your skill set. You do this through skill stacking. Think about it. A good writer is common. A good data scientist is common. But a writer who deeply understands data science and human psychology, that person is a monopoly of one. When you combine 3 unrelated fields into a unique stack, you are no longer competing in a red ocean where everyone is fighting for the same crumbs. You are in a blue ocean of your own making. You don't ask for a raise, you don't apply for positions. You are the only person on earth who can do what you do. That is the ultimate form of financial security. Secret 3. The halo effect, the alchemy of perception. In psychology, the halo effect is a cognitive bias where our overall impression of a person influences how we feel and think about their character. Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman describes this in his work on System 1 thinking. In the realm of wealth, perception is a currency more valuable than gold. If you look like a victim, the market will treat you like one. If you project the aura of a high-value asset, opportunities will gravitate toward you before you even open your mouth. This is not about faking it. This is about strategic signaling. The Matthew effect in sociology states, "To him who has, more will be given." Why? Because human beings are biologically programmed to follow authority and status. When you master the art of social proof and authority, concepts pioneered by Robert Cialdini, you trigger a psychological shortcut in the minds of others. Investors, clients, and partners will assume you are competent because you signal competence. Manage your reputation with the ferocity of a guardian. Secret 4. The Contrarian's strike. The masses are driven by two primitive emotions, greed and fear. Most people lose their money power because they suffer from social proof, bias. They buy when everyone else is buying, greed, and they sell when everyone else is selling, fear. They follow the herd mentality, and as a result, they get slaughtered with the herd. The powerful understand the psychology of market cycles. As billionaire investor Warren Buffett famously noted, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." This is the predator's patience. It requires a high degree of emotional intelligence to sit still while everyone else is rushing into a hot market. You must accumulate your resources in the shadows, building your war chest during times of stability. Then, when the inevitable cycle breaks, when the blood is in the streets, and the average person is paralyzed by panic, that is when you strike. 100% legally, you use the liquidity you've saved to buy the assets of the fearful at a 70% discount. Money power is not about working harder. It is about having the stomach to act when everyone else is closing their eyes. Secret 5. The art of strategic subjugation. Sun Tzu, the legendary author of The Art of War, taught that the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. In the modern economy, this is called game theory. Specifically, it's about reaching a Nash equilibrium, where you win because you have engineered a system that makes fighting you too expensive for anyone else. Ethical ruthlessness means playing strictly within the laws of the land, but playing to win so decisively that competition becomes irrelevant. You don't hope for a market share. You engineer a product or a personal brand that is so superior, your rivals become obsolete. You use incentive structures to make it in everyone's best interest to see you succeed. When your success helps your partners, your clients, and your community, you create an unstoppable momentum. As the ancient wisdom goes, it is better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener at war. In the garden of the modern economy, ensure your strategy is the most sophisticated, your moat is the deepest, and your lever is the longest. The path of the 1%. Wealth is not a reward for good behavior or waiting your turn. It is a reward for strategic clarity. These 5 secrets are not just about making money. Money is simply the scoreboard. These secrets are about power. The power to protect your family from economic volatility. The power to influence your environment. The power to never have to say yes to a boss or a system you don't respect. The question is no longer, can I do it? The question is, am I willing to see the world as it truly is? Which of these 5 laws will you implement first? Will you build your fortress of specific knowledge, or will you start mastering the law of leverage? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. And remember, in the game of power, the only thing more dangerous than an enemy is a man with a plan he hasn't revealed yet. Subscribe to stay ahead of the curve. I'll see you in the next one.